Ever since 2.0, the Factorio developers have become quite fond of making achievement runs harder, despite the already low global completion rates. I used to make guides on how to speedrun the game both in vanilla and Space Age, but they quickly become outdated after just a few updates. It's been almost 2 years and the devs have made it clear that 2.1 will be the final major update for Factorio, so I figured that this would be a good time to remaster my guides and give them some much needed upgrades. This time, I'm not only going to show you how to complete the speedrun achievements, but also every other achievement, all in one go. Hopefully, I won't have to remaster this one too. A few quick disclaimers. First, this is a vanilla or achievements run, not Space Age. As of recording, 2.1 is still in experimental. Since 2.1 is mostly focused on Space Age content, I want to wait until the stable release before starting my Space Age or achievements run, just in case the devs decide to make any last minute changes to how achievements work. Second, while I do put all achievements in one go in the title, and I assure you that you can get every achievement with a single save file, I won't show you how to unlock every single one of them. Surely you don't need me to tell you how to run over 100 trees or be run over by a train. Many achievements are not difficult, they're just incredibly time consuming. I would rather skip the grind and focus on the parts that actually require some planning. This guide ends when we launch the first rocket. By then we'll have completed every timed achievement and most of the restriction based ones. The rest will be very trivial and we will have infinite time to complete them. So let's not waste any more time. Without further ado, let's begin. Okay, map generation settings. First, max out all the resource sliders, except uranium because we don't need it in large quantities. Next, do not disable cliffs. There's an achievement tied to them, Terraformer, which requires you to destroy a cliff with a cliff explosive. I didn't realize this until I finished driving around and started checking the achievement list. Yeah, F me. To be fair, the game never explicitly tells you that disabling cliffs will lock you out of an all achievement round. Anyway, cliffs are mostly just an annoyance. They will leave awkward gaps between your buildings and make your factory look a bit ugly. Disabling them doesn't really make the game much easier because they also act as free, indestructible walls for your base. They barely slow you down, so I wasn't about to redo my entire run just because of that. Also, looking at the preview, I never built into the cliff zone, so this shouldn't matter. Other than that, there's nothing else we're going to tweak. The island elevation setting can make the run easier because biters can only attack from a limited number of directions, while most of your base is protected by water. But just in case the dev decide this makes the run too easy, like they already did with starting area size and pollution settings, I won't be using it. You may also notice that I minimized the moisture setting, which means my world is going to be one giant fucking desert. Don't do this. I only use this setting to slow me down and prove that you can still complete the game even under some of the worst map settings. The same goes for disabling water, which removes another source of natural defenses. Leave both of these untouched. Now look at the map preview. Ideally, you want large iron and copper patches close to your starting area, with a reasonable amount of coal and stone nearby. Your oil shouldn't be too far away, and you want to avoid having biter nests between you and your first oil field. It's even better if there's a dense forest separating your base from the nearest biter nest. Try not to be too picky though. There's no perfect map, only perfect execution. Once you find a map you're happy with, we can begin. Oh, by the way, this 13-second casting actually counts towards your playtime, so you might want to skip it because in this round, every second counts. Now the first thing we want to do is place our burner mining drill and stone furnace on an iron ore patch and fill them with a couple pieces of coal. Then we start exploring the map. Look around for these giant rocks that contain both coal and stone. Conveniently, I couldn't find a single one in my starting area. Anyway, go smash some rocks and chop down a few trees. Just remember to come back every now and then to refill your drill and furnace. You can craft an extra stone furnace to speed up this part slightly by manually mining a bit more iron ore. Once you have at least 118 iron plates, start smelting 33 copper plates. Craft exactly 1 steam engine, 1 boiler, 1 offshore pump, 1 small electric pole, 1 lab, and 10 automation science packs. Build this blueprint next to a lake and research automation. Then craft 1 assembling machine 1. That's 102 handcrafts. We still have 9 handcrafts to spare, or 8 if you crafted an extra stone furnace. Leave the rest as buffer in case you misclick, so you won't have to reload an early autosave and lose progress. This whole process should take around 12 to 15 minutes. Then the hardest part of the entire run begins. We need to unlock trains and place one on the tracks within 1 hour and 30 minutes, without any handcrafting. During this time, you will need to constantly move items between machines, fend off biter attacks, and expand as fast as possible. Use this early lab setup to research gun turrets, then green science, and things like electric drill and steel. I add some displays to show you which chests need which metal. Also, I recommend changing your autosave interval to 3 minutes and making plenty of manual saves. That way, if biters attack, you can load an earlier save and pre-place a few gun turrets in that direction. You will want 6 drills on copper for making circuits, 1 or 2 drills on stone for making furnaces, and 10 drills on coal to keep everything fueled. Add another 18 MW to your power grid. Prepare about 34 electric mining drills, 30 assembly machine wands, 150 inserters, 400 transport belts, 32 stone furnaces, at least 20 labs, 60 small electric poles, 2 splitters, and 6 underground belts. Yes, it's a lot, and some machines are not even automated in the blueprint I give you, so you have to craft them in a temporary assembler. Hopefully, you can prepare all this before the 1 hour mark. If you don't have most of them by then, you are unlikely to complete getting on track like a pro in time. It's okay to fail, this part is very difficult. If you do fail, just reload or save and try to build everything a little bit faster. Once you have most of the machines ready, place 22 electric mining drills on iron, 8 on copper, and 4 to 6 on coal. Build the furnace array and connect the ore input. Finally, build a 60 SPM red and green science setup with 20 to 30 labs. Start researching immediately and unlock trains as fast as possible. While the research is going, smelt 32 steel and craft 20 engines. After railway is down, make 4 rails plus 1 locomotive. And put the locomotive on rails. Whew! Now the hardest part is behind us. The rest of the run will be significantly easier. We should now pause our research and start reinforcing our defenses. The only thing saving us from total destruction is the handful of gun turrets barely holding back ever larger waves of enemies and the foresight gained from countless reloads. Don't worry, we are fine. Increase ammo production and add a few more gun turrets. If 1 layer of pipes isn't enough, 3 more should do the trick. Once you are confident in your defenses, resume research and start working on the mall. There's no hurry, we have 2 hours to spare without making any research progress. Next on the agenda is steel. Simply add another iron furnace stack and connect its output to the input of an empty stack. Also, complete the copper stack and build 12 furnaces for smelting stone bricks. Replace all your stone furnaces with steel ones. 2 hours in, we finally have a reliable supply of everything. After building the mall, expanding will become much easier. With the amount of pollution we are producing now, pipe walls and few gun turrets won't hold for long. To address that, we should start producing military science. Also upgrade your lab setup to the 4 input bell version so it can accept additional science packs. Research as many damage and attack speed upgrades as you like. Just remember to unlock all the prerequisites for blue science. Speaking of blue science, add 1 more iron furnace stack. Oh, I should mention that it takes 30 miners to supply 1 full stack, or 28 if you have mining productivity 1. Grab some pump jacks, gun turrets, and ammo. Then head to the nearest oil field and set out an outpost. Compared to mining drills, pump jacks produce only a tiny amount of pollution. Biters are very unlikely to attack them, so even just a few gun turrets should be enough. Since we are using only wooden power poles, this is also a good time to chop down some extra trees. Bring the crude oil back with pipes, adding pumps if necessary. Find a place to build the first stage of our oil refining setup. Produce green circuits with 4 to 6 assembly machine tubes. Drawing the required iron and copper from the science area. Then produce red circuits with 12 assembly machine tubes, which is 2 stacks. Connect all the input belts accordingly. Before turning both circuits builds on, add another 18 MW to your power grid, bringing your total power production to 36 MW. Finally, build a 60 SPM blue science setup. You should be able to finish this section before the 4-hour mark. Don't stress if you are slightly behind schedule, we still have some time to spare. You might notice I skipped through a lot of footage. It's mostly just me adding mining drills, fixing my base, building blueprints, fixing my base, cooking spaghetti, fixing my base. I love biters. But the worst is nearly behind us. Construction robots are just around the corner. In fact, we are going to unlock them right now. Build a 27 robot frames per minute factory along with this blueprint that handles all the construction robot related shenanigans. Consider adding one more stack of red circuits, as robots consume a lot of them. While our base slowly makes robots in the background, I recommend adding another 10 megawatts to the power grid as robots can be quite power hungry. Once you have a few roboports, cover the malls with the logistic network so bots can automatically expand its coverage. Place a few storage chests, then replace all the wooden chests in the mall with passive provider chests. Overlay the complete oil refining blueprint on top of our existing early setup and let the bots finish the upgrade. Fix any broken belts and pipes after forcing down the blueprint. Besides the usual oil products, this blueprint also produces 1 landmine per second. That's going to be our primary defense from now on. Surround the entire base with landmines, starting by placing them in front of your gun turrets. Medium biters and smaller don't stand a chance against them. With landmines, biters are no longer an issue, so we can finally start working on purple and yellow science. This is where the base really starts to expand. First, add another 60 megawatts to the power grid. To feed all the boilers, you will need 1 full belt of coal, which requires 30 mining drills, or 28 if you have mining productivity 1. Then, build 5 copper furnace stacks and 3 iron furnace stacks. Of those 8 stacks, 3 copper and 2 iron will feed this green circuit factory producing 2 full belts of green circuits. You will need to split 1 copper belt in 2 to supply the far side belt on both sides. This will put quite a lot of pressure on our mall, especially since we will need a few thousand belts to connect everything. So it's a good idea to upgrade some of the assemblers in the mall to tier 2. Speaking of upgrades, remember to research 2 levels of inserter capacity bonus and 2 levels of research speed. You can research more if you like, but those are all we need to launch a rocket on time. After the boss finish building the 16 megawatts steam power setup, add another one. We probably don't need that much power, but better safe than sorry. Once you have around 300 to 400 construction robots, you can pause robot production and stockpile in 200 electric engines. We will need them to build a rocket silo. Build another 8 furnace stacks whose sole purpose is to smelt steel. They can share the same output belt. Finally, add another 3 stacks of red circuits. That's all the resources we need for purple and yellow science. Now we just have to build the actual science production lines. The full blueprints can be quite long, so I've split them into multiple segments. Just build each segment separately and then connect the belts. The robot frame for yellow science comes from our dormant robot factory. Keep in mind that low-density structures need more than 1 belt of copper and processing units need more than 1 belt of green circuits. That's all 6 sciences we need to win the game. We are almost there. Before we research the rocket silo, remember to unlock beacons first. As for the rocket, we have already mass-produced processing units and LTS for yellow science. The only thing left is rocket fuel. Just find a random spot, place down this blueprint and connect the pipes. While the research is going, place down this blueprint to produce concrete. We need 1000 concrete for the rocket silo and another 200 for the cargo landing pad. Also, make 6 to 8 beacons with 12 to 16 speed module 1s. Grab 64 productivity module 1s from purple science, or if there aren't enough, craft them in assemblers. Combine them with red circuits and processing units to make 4 productivity module 3s. If you still have time, produce 100 solar panels, 100 accumulators and 5 radars. Use them along with all the required materials to craft a satellite. Don't forget the cargo landing pad. Craft the rocket silo with an assembler and place it down. Insert 4 productivity module 3s and surround it with speed beacons. Bring your processing unit production up to 63 per minute. Direct the output belts of processing units, low-density structures, and rocket fuel to the rocket silo. If everything is connected correctly, the rocket will be ready in 12 minutes. There's still some work to do after the launch, but we don't need to worry about that yet. For now, just sit back, relax, and wait for the rocket to finish. Congrats, that's all the time achievements complete. There's still a bunch left to do, but now you have all the time in the world. Complete them however you like. Be careful though, technically we still haven't completed Logistic Network Embargo. Since we have already launched a satellite, I recommend researching Worker Robot Speed 6, which costs exactly 1000 space science. After that, we'll be able to freely use logistic robots without worrying about the achievement. And this final one, just launch a rocket with a fish inside. Oh right, one more thing. I love fighters.